What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet, and I am black up in your face again with some more pro black commentary. I actually was going to avoid this subject and not talk about it mainly because it's gotten way too much attention, in my opinion, and I understand why. I understand the politics why and the social implications why, but I just wanted to avoid it because I just didn't feel like getting into it again. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in this video. And the subject I'm talking about is the conflict going on in Israel now between the Israelis and the Palestinians. And, their back and forth and their constant violence against one another. But the reason I'm talking about it is because I'm getting really tired of both factions, whether they be in this country or internationally, and some of their surrogates and sycophants on both sides constantly badgering black society to make us choose which side to or who we're going to side with, as if black people have a dog in the fight, or black people, like, we have to choose, we have to give our support or sympathies to somebody and we gotta choose a side. I'm not doing it, okay? And I don't care what anyone has to say about it. This is not our conflict. And truth be told, I'm going to be totally honest with you, as a man who is in his mid 40s and who's been around for 4 decades. I'm fatigued on the violence in that section of the Middle East. Okay, I look at the conflict in Israel and Palestine and the fight over Jerusalem the same way white bigots look at the conflict or the gang violence in Chicago, okay, or just gang violence in the black community. The same way you fools are very desensitized to it and very callous and very uncaring about it with no sympathy. That's the way I see the conflict over there in Jerusalem and Israel and Palestine. All right. And the reason being is because no soon as I was born, there was conflict going on there. No soon as I got into my teens, there was conflict going on there. There was conflict going on there when I was in my 20s, in my 30s. And when you read a history book, you find like that area has been nothing but conflict ever since someone could pick up a sword and fight. Anytime someone could pick up a sword and spear and a shield, there was fighting going on in that area. Okay, so at this point, what are people supposed to do? Like, why are people supposed to get all emotional about it? I understand the political implications that Jews have a lot of influence here within the United States, so of course they have to. They want to protect Israel. I understand that Israel is a strategic area for the United States. That's all it really is. That's the only thing anyone's ever cared about. Because there's nothing there. There's no natural resources there that are important or that anyone needs. It's all strategic. Okay, it's a jump off base for the United Nations and NATO to launch attacks from other places. Okay, that's all it really is, right? But you know, what am I supposed to do as far as there being conflict over there? Why am I supposed to sit here and rip my clothes and shed tears for what's going on over there? Do I enjoy seeing people blown up or people dying or people being shot? No, I don't. I obviously do not. And I do have a heart, whether it just be for black people or even other types of people out there. Obviously, I don't like seeing people hurt or abused or mutilated or whatever. But I mean, exactly how much sympathy and empathy am I supposed to have? At a certain point, I still have to be more concerned about what's going on in my own home. I mean, that's what you've told us, right? That's what all these white bigots and these conservative bigots have been telling us forever, right? That we black people need to get their own stuff in order. So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting my house in order. I'm going to worry about what's going on here in the black community, right? Instead of worrying about what everyone else is doing. I can't help those people over there. There's nothing I can actually do for them. And I'm not going to be out there protesting, or I'm not going to go on my social media and put up different flags or asking for peace in the Middle East. I remember when that was a big thing. Remember that, folks? If you're a child of the late 80s, early 90s, remember when they like every rapper and R&B singer was putting a peace in the Middle East in their song? Remember that shit? So like that was during the time of cross colors and African medallions and whatnot. And we're still trying to get our own consciousness, and Negroes are literally saying peace in the Middle East. But yeah, that's about as much sympathy as you're going to get from me around that. All right, I don't, not saying I don't care, but there's not a lot I can do. So you trying to force me to care or trying to force me to side with one group or the other, that's not going to work. Okay. In fact, it's only serving to make me upset and angry when you do that, because then you make it seem as if black people owe you something. We don't. As the great Dr. John Henrik Clarke said, the only thing black people owe anyone is an ass whooping. All right. That's the only thing we owe anybody. And then the truth of the matter is, with the abuse that the Israelis have put on black people, not only black people from the diaspora, like from Africa that go to live there, but also black people within the United States. We don't owe you folks anything. In fact, you do so much harm to us. Why would we want to have any type of sympathy for you? Likewise, the Palestinians are extremely racist towards black people. So why should we have any type of sympathy for you? See, you guys want to mistreat black people, and whenever you resolve your conflicts, you go back to the status quo of treating black people like we're lower than dirt, or we're dogs, or whatever extremely racist term that you've invented in your own language, which I find very interesting. In all these different cultures, they all have a racist term for black people, but you want, when stuff goes wrong for you and you have an issue or you have a conflict, then you want black people's sympathy. No, we're not going to do that. Okay, we're not going to lend our energy and our passions to you and your conflict. And I think that's a problem, and black people need to realize this, because people like to use our energy because they know how passionate black people can be, and they know that black people, with the issues that we have, especially the ones that we have here in America, that we are on the side of righteousness when it comes to the abuse that we have suffered for centuries. So they want to take our energy from that and dissipate our own energy in protecting ourselves and our own progeny and put it onto them and become their protectors. We're not going to do that. Okay, black people, we're not going to be the unsullied for you. If anyone watches or reads Game of Thrones, the Unsullied, the group of black soldiers that Daenerys used to defend her and her cause. We're not going to be that for you. And that's what it seems like a lot of these people want. They want their own little black brigade of Spartans and soldiers to help them in their own endeavors. You're not getting that from us, and you're not getting it here. Okay? That's just not what we're going to do. And once again, not saying that, I don't care, or I like to see, or I enjoy seeing people be hurt, or I enjoy seeing people be abused or blown up. I don't at all. I think that's terrible what's going on. But at the end of the day, I have to be more concerned about what's going on with my own people. Like you told me, right? You folks told me to be more concerned about my own people. And you know what? When there is any type of violence that happens with black people, right? Or any type of, miscarriage of justice involving black people, not only will you have no sympathy for the black people that die, doesn't matter if they're young, old, if they're children, doesn't matter. You have no sympathy for the black people. you will also indict the rest of the black community and make it seem like it's black people's fault for the reason it happened. So how would you like it if I started doing that to you now? Right? What if I started saying that it's your fault that you know, the Palestinians are launching bombs over into Israel, or to you Israelis, it's, you know, it's your fault that or the Palestinians is your fault that Israel's dropping bombs on your country, on your little area. That's your fault, not mine. So, like, you know, what if we start blaming your community for the atrocities that happen there? So you do it to us all the time and make it everything seem like our, even if it's not our fault, you make it seem like it's our fault and we deserve to suffer for it. And your surrogates and, you know, your champions over here in the United States do the same thing to us here. They always make it seem like it's black people's fault. You know, so why should I jump in front of the bullet for you now? Not why should I have the sympathy and try to make it seem like, especially once again, when the conflict has been going on for centuries, every 10 years or so there's a conflict there at the very least. So exactly how much sympathy am I supposed to have? I'm kind of burnt out on the sympathy for what's going on in that area because once again, it happens all the time, right? You people are always killing each other. You're always killing your own people, right? So that's what you say to us. So what do you want us to do for you now? And once again, like all the demands on black people to use our energy to, you know, cry or be sympathetic or want to come save you, that's over with. Black people need to stop that. And I've seen some some Negroes with their butter biscuits, you know, trying their best on social media to get other black people to care. They don't need us, okay? They don't need our energy. And you know, you Negroes, you have all the sympathy in the world for other groups of people. When your own people get shot, or when there is violence in a major black city like Chicago or Detroit, then you do the same thing white people do. You start, you know, trying to tear down the black community, saying we kill each other and we're bad. But when violent acts happen in these other countries, then all of a sudden you have some sympathy, as if it hasn't happened before. So, I mean, you folks can let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. I very much like to hear your opinions on this because I know you've seen the same things I've been seeing on social media, and you've had people with these Palestinian flags or these Israeli flags either asking for your help or your sympathy or whatever, asking for your support. I'm not giving it to you. You know, I know there's a lot of black people here who are sick of it and are not going to give our sympathies for some nonsense like that. Okay, that's their problem. They're going to have to deal with it. Anyway, Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on the devil's back.